So today what we're trying to do is we're going to combine the ideas that we used last week. Okay, so last week we talked about what an array is and how we can use arrays. We also talked about loops. Today we're going to talk about looping through arrays. All right, so let's go ahead and make a new class. We'll call it loops and arrays. And of course, my source folder is empty here, so arrays and loops, src. We want this thing to have a main method, and let's go ahead and finish this thing. So what I'm going to do is create an array in here first. So I'm going to go string array, and I'm going to call this thing classes. Let's call it courses. Alright, and so for me, I'm going to say that, I don't know, first hour I have geometry, second hour I have computer programming. Let's just shorten that up to programming. Because what are you going to do? Program a cake? Psh, come on. What are you talking about? Okay, so then let's see, next thing I have is, let's say British authors. Next thing I have is gym class, favorite class of the day. All the gym teachers told me I should have been a gym teacher. All my students told me I shouldn't have been a teacher. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next thing I got is geometry. No better way of following up gym than geometry. Oh man, that's a perfect day in my world. But no, we better not take geometry twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. What do I need to have here? You got to have U.S. history. History. We got math already. And then I need what? Science in there. So we got to take chemistry. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. And then the last class here, let's speech. Alright. So let me close that down. Alright. So what we have here is we have 7 classes. Remember that whenever we don't have to put this in here as a comment, but I'm just going to do it for you again. Remember that no matter what your array is, the first index is always 0. So geometry is 0, programming is 1, British authors is 2, gym is 3, okay, U.S. history is 4, chemistry is 5, and speech is 6. What is the length of the array called courses? What's the length of this? No. 7. Okay? 7. So then what we're going to do is we're going to use a loop, and we're going to create a variable index equal to 0. Okay? Since indexes start with 0, we're going to have index start at 0. And then we're going to make a while loop and say while index is less than the name of our array, courses.length. Because notice that all of the indexes are less than the length. Okay? So if you want to put comments in here for yourself, index starts at 0 for an array. Okay? All indexes are less than array.length. Okay, so that's why we do that. And then here what we're going to do is we're going to print out, okay, we're going to print out the courses at index. Okay? So inside the loop we're going to print out, in this case, if index is 0, that's going to print out geometry. If index is 3, that's going to print out gym. Okay? After I print out a particular course out of my array, I want to make sure that I go to the next index. So I want to go index equals index plus 1. All right. So we're going to say print current element or current course. okay? And then this is go to the next element, basically. Go to the next index. All right. So this is going to print all of those. If I run this, this is going to print each of those courses on its own line. So you see over here, geometry, programming, British authors, gym, U.S. history, all the way down to speech. Okay. And so maybe what I want to do is I want to say like, well, this is the room number that I have this class in, okay? So last week we also talked a little bit about what parallel arrays are, okay? Parallel arrays are arrays that have some kind of logical association with each other, and they always have the same length. So here what I'm going to do is go int array. I'm doing this right ahead of the courses array here, and I'm just going to call it rooms. And so geometry, let's say that's in 218. Programming is right here in 101. British authors, let's say, is in 309. I don't know. Gym, I should know this one. I think that's 107. Not sure. U.S. history is, let's say, 314. I know that's not right, but chemistry is somewhere in the 121 area. And then speech class is like 125. All right. Sorry. So anyway, we want to make sure that we also have 7 elements in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then inside of the loop, okay, inside of the loop, what we're going to do is we're going to add a line above where we're printing out the courses and go system.out.print rooms at index. Okay. So I'm going to print that, run it, and now I get this thing, which looks okay, but really doesn't look that great. Like, it's kind of hard to read. 218, geometry, 101, programming, etc. Okay? So what we can do is we can try to add like either a space, or really I'm going to add a tab in between those. Okay? So the way that you add a tab, so if you wanted to just add a space, you would go plus, quote, space, quote. You guys are used to seeing that. Okay? If I want to add a tab so I can make kind of like a table out of this, I'm going to put in \t. So that's a special character. Okay? That's a special character that means tab. There's a couple other special characters that are similar to that. And I'm just going to put a comment in here for you guys. So the / is the one that's like right below the delete key on your keyboard. \t equals tab.
It's not right below the delete key.
Oh, it's not for you guys?
It's below the backspace.
Oh, below the backspace key. Sorry. Okay, so what that's doing now is printing out the room at index. So when index is 0, it's printing out 218. Then it prints out a tab. That's this white space here. And then it's printing out courses at 0, so geometry, and giving us a new line, so we get 101, tab, programming, etc. Does that make sense so far? Now, if you wanted to put a header above here, then you would do that before the loop. Okay, so if we wanted to do something like, say, system.out.println, right, room number, I can do that \t inside of there, and then go course name. And we could imagine adding more stuff on here, like teacher. You could put an array of teacher names in here, etc. Oops, let me not do that. Let me put a semicolon in here. And if I run that again, okay, so I have kind of like a table structure like you might see on a classic, you know, whatever it is we're creating here, your schedule. Classic schedule output, okay? That's not the way you guys have your schedules printed out anymore, unfortunately, but it is what it is, okay? All right. So let me just show you one more thing, and then I'm going to give you guys a little assignment to do with this. If I went about this kind of a different way, okay, let me just comment this out. I could say, for example, in here something like system.out.println, good typer, something like I have, and then plus courses at index, right, plus in room plus rooms at index, right? And then when I print that out, it's still repeating itself in that while loop. Okay, so I have geometry in room 218, I have programming in room 101, so it's just a little bit different, but I'm just showing you that you can kind of infuse these inside of other text that you have. All right, so what you guys are going to do for an assignment is you are going to print out the lyrics to a song that you like, a repetitive song, okay? Some good examples of repetitive songs, maybe not songs that you like, but songs that are easy to kind of follow the idea here is like Old MacDonald Had a Farm, okay? Lots of repetition in that song. Some students came up with some other good ones, and if you can't think of a different one or whatever, I can give you some ideas. The other one that I thought of was like 12 Days of Christmas. Okay, so there's a lot of repetition in that song. Okay, other songs, you guys kind of be creative. I don't want to stifle your creativity. Okay, so that's what you're doing.